Hey, welcome to another episode of the Blackout Test Podcast. I'm your host, Rod, joined as always by my co-host,
Karen.
And we are live on a Sunday afternoon, ready to do some podcasting before we go see the Charlotte Hornets play the Los Angeles Clippers.
Yay!
I don't know who I was playing, but I'm assuming I get to see Paul George, hopefully, and Kawhi Leonard and James Harden and Russell Westbrook, and they'll probably beat us by 40. But hey,
of course.
It's the thought that counts.
It is. Went to go see them play the Warriors. I was like, yeah, we gonna get beat, but at least I get to see Steph.
Yep. The official weapon of the show is
the folding chair,
and the unofficial sport,
bullet ball.
A bullet ball, extreme. Do you have any banter?
Yes.
All right. All right, banter me.
Yes, initially I did not have no banter, but then I thought about it. I was like, girl, what happened last night? You got some banter.
Oh, yeah, that was mine.
I was like, well, I guess we gonna share the same banter because I was like, Lord have mercy.
Man, I almost got native sun last night, y'all.
It was crazy.
So we went out to grab some food last night, and on the way back, it was probably like 10 o'clock or so. On the way back, we were getting out the car to go into the apartment, and a Lyft driver, this guy, he had an accent. I guess he's like Southeast Asian, maybe. He pulled over and he just went, hello, or whatever.
Right. And I was like, hey, okay.
Yeah, of course, knowing Karen, she stopped.
Yes.
And she's all like, hey, someone's speaking to us. You know, me, I was ready to keep walking because I'm like, I don't know this guy. Is he lost or something? Or, and the way he said hello, it wasn't like he stopped and said anything more than he was just like, hello. And I was just like, hello. And looking back, I think he had been like kind of parked in that area, and then maybe he was waiting for somebody to come by.
Oh, okay.
That looked a certain way or something, and then he like pulled out and stopped next to us. And I'm like, what does he need, like directions or something?
Right, that's what I was thinking. Yes.
And he's like, can you help me? And we're like, what's going on? He's like, do you know this woman in the back? She said she lived here, and there was this white lady who was like slumped in the back seat.
She was toasted.
And he was like, she says she lives in this building. He pointed to the building that she lives in, which wasn't our building. So I'm not really familiar with her. Not that I know all my neighbors. Right. I feel like people are less neighborly than ever at this point.
Yes, they are.
I know like my immediate neighbors.
Right.
But I don't know, like if you live a couple floors up or down, I don't know.
Nope.
So he's like, so she lives in this building and I'm a Lyft driver and I need to, kind of drop her off and get to my next thing. Her friend put her in here and said, get her home, but I don't know what apartment she's in.
Right.
Because, it doesn't necessarily tell you the apartment number. It tells people the
building. Right.
And I don't know what apartment she's in. And I don't know what how she's like. And so, I'm like, I'm thinking she's like maybe a little wobbly drunk or something. And I'm like, okay, we'll figure it out, at this point, because it's kind of like, I had that moment, I'm not even gonna lie, of being like, I don't know this person and it's not my responsibility, and like, sorry that happened to her and you, but I guess you just gonna have to stay here and figure it out. I had that moment in my head of thinking that. But then I thought, like, this is a neighbor. Thank God, like we were there and we were help. I don't know what I'd do if I found out somebody else was like something happened to the woman and it was like, damn, we really would have like we could have helped and we didn't.
I would have felt horrible. I'm not even gonna lie.
So I'm like, okay, I had to get over my trepidation of because I'm not This is the second fucking time we've had some drunk ass white woman show up
randomly,
just dropped off in our vicinity and been like, all right. And the first time it was a white woman who was passed out, based or just very drunk, incoherent, and knocking on our back patio
window.
And she thought
and she did it for hours.
She thought, yeah, she did it for, it wasn't hours, but she did it long enough. She had been out there a long time.
Yes.
And she thought it was someone else's house or something. We had to call the police. For all I know, it could be the same white lady. It's been that long. I don't remember what she looked like. But when I say this woman was similarly incapacitated, I mean that. Like, so we go to try to help her get out the back seat, or I go because Karen decided she ain't even touching to get in the vicinity of this white lady. Which I'm like, I'm a fucking man, I could use the help, like a woman helping her to me is less threatening than a man trying to help her. But but the thing is, no matter how drunk y'all think she is, she was drunker.
Yeah.
Or like at some point I thought maybe she'd been roofied or something. She was that out of it. Like she could not really sit up, and she kept saying stuff like, hello, huh, hey. And I'm trying to ask her, questions like, hey, what's your name? Do you know what apartment you live in?
Give us no information.
Do you think you can stand up? Do you need my help standing up? She had on one of those party dresses. Y'all know the kind I'm talking about. It's not like a bodycon dress that comes all the way down. It's like a skirt kind of, but it's a bodycon skirt or something. Like she just, she's like white girl went out clubbing type dress, But it's the thing also is it's only 10 o'clock on Saturday, and like you're this hammered. I don't know if it's day party, wedding, I don't know. But I mean, she was dressed like she was going to the club or something, and immediately, because it took her a good, I'm not exaggerating, 4 to 5 minutes to even get out of the car to stand up.
Yes.
And you can see she was putting in Herculean effort to stand. Move.
Yeah, she was like, "This is all the strength I got."
Yeah. So I offered my arm to her to see if she wanted to be steady. She couldn't even take it. I couldn't tell if she wouldn't take it or she couldn't take it.
Yeah.
Once again, it's a white lady, so I don't know. It could be like a racial thing. It could be we don't know her.
Right.
I'm a man.
We're strangers. I'm a stranger. Yes.
I was hoping at this point Karen would volunteer because she's a woman, and a woman helping a woman stand wouldn't be weird. I don't want any level of inappropriateness or whatever level that me for trying to help her stand and shit, because it was one of those. But Karen just stayed away, and so she manages to get to her feet, starts walking like she's gonna get to her apartment, and I'm thinking, okay, cool.
Yes, she good.
I will help kind of trail her to the apartment. We'll make sure she gets in safe, and then we just gonna go to our apartment, like But she got to like the curb and fell.
She got to the curb. I thought, oh shit, she done hurt herself. Cause y'all, when she hit that curb like fucking bricks. It was like boop boop. I was like, God damn.
Like she slammed into the car and fell onto the ground. And honestly, y'all weren't there. I'm telling y'all, I can't imagine how any person that would call themselves a friend would allow her to be in that situation.
Right.
It was not you could have maybe misunderstood how drunk she was. It wasn't one of those. It was like it's the kind of thing where if you're a friend and someone's that drunk, you stay up and watch them.
Yes, it is one of those things where when me and Roger got back, I was like, she didn't call this Uber. I was like, someone
put her in an Uber.
Yes, they did, and sent her there.
When I tell y'all, she was incapable of even communication, like forming words.
Agreed.
And so at this point, and this little dress is like riding up her like thong, her ass is hanging out.
Yes, it was.
I'm trying to help her, but I didn't want to touch her.
Correct.
So I'm like, hey, your dress, and she's just like, hey, hello. Hey,
yeah, she would go.
And then she'd just be blank face for another couple minutes. Hey, and so I'm like, let me just go get her a blanket. So I go into the house, grab one of Karen's Snuggies. Don't worry, it's in the washing machine right now, guys. All right, I know what you're thinking. But I grab one of her Snuggies and kind of lay it over her so that it's not like swaddling her, but it is like,
yeah, she
and
not
it's cold. It's like 60 degrees, and she got all she got on is this dress.
right.
And so I lay that neck on her, and then I would sit down like a couple feet away from her, and Karen calls the police because it's just like, call the police. We hate to call the police.
We do.
But when I say I could not understand we couldn't understand what building, what apartment she was in.
And I would not have felt safe, because when somebody's in that frame of mind, they might stop. You're a stranger. They don't know if they're being attacked. Like, no, I'm not gonna touch her.
I'm like, do you have right? But she gonna leave me out there. But this your friend, Joe. This your hero, Joe. But so Karen's on the phone with the police, and I'm just like, hey, you're safe. You're gonna be okay. We're gonna make sure you get in safe. Everything's fine. Like talking to her like that. Cars are driving by and shit, and I'm like and I'm very concerned that these cars drive by and see a black man sitting next to some white lady with her fucking thong out.
Yes.
They almost passed out on the ground and just start assuming the wrong shit, or thinking she's in danger, or that we're doing something nefarious. And I'm just like, fuck, man, police need to hurry the fuck up.
Yeah, that's why I called. So if anything happened, I know that they like somebody else is already on their way to the address.
And I'm gonna be honest, guys, she was so messed up. I was worried about the police showing up, to be honest, because all the nightmare stories you hear about police and sexual assault and stuff like that. And I'm like, hopefully police ain't on no weird shit either, because she's so incapacitated. I don't think she would even be able to remember or recall anything happening to her.
Correct.
Like, if something hadn't already happened to her. That's how bad she was out of it. I was, like, anytime you like, I want to stress that if I felt there was any way to get her safely in her apartment without us, like, I would have. Period. If we would have had to carry her, I would have carried her
together,
rather than to get the police involved, because like I said, I don't trust the police either. And we live on the black side of town, so it was taking too long. But so yeah, we ended up sitting out there for like, oh man, it might have been 30, 45 minutes. I know by the time we got in, it was 11. So anyway, so she's trying to stand, even though she can't. She's trying to sit up, she can't.
With all her might. And I was thinking, baby, you might as well just keep laying there.
And every time her dress is just sliding up, and it's just like, I'm just going back with the snuggie, like, here you go. Like,
trying to keep her covered up, right?
Like, come on, man, your choach is hanging out. You can't. Like,
yeah, when I called 911, I told them, where we were at and stuff like that, and I was like, hey, dog, like, I can't leave out here. That's exactly what I told her. I was like, I'm not gonna leave this woman out here, because I don't know who might be looking wanting us to leave or some shit like that. I can't leave her.
I felt like it's in for a penny, in for a pound at that point. I feel like never helping her would be better than helping for 10 minutes and then going in the house like, I don't know what she gonna do.
Right.
So I knew we were gonna have to stay there. I'm just like, hopefully police don't roll up and act crazy because we black, or no, like, this nigga suspicious or whatever. So it takes a while, and she's trying to get up, she can't. I'm like, it's okay,
we kept telling her, you gonna be all right.
I'm trying to see if maybe she's sobering up even a little bit, to like give us some information, like, what's your name? And I'm not, this is not exaggeration, this is how it sounds. Karen was far away, so maybe she couldn't hear it exactly, but I would say, ma'am, are you like, do you know where you stay? And she'd be like, blank face. And then I'm like, okay, do you live here? And she just blank face. And then I'd turn away or sit down or, check my time on my phone. And then she'd be like, hello?
Yeah, she kept doing hello, looking at me going, hello.
And I said, hello. And she's like, hey. I'm like, hey, what's your name? Man. I said, your name? Man. I said, is it May? Man. I'm like, oh my God. Yeah, she can't say shit.
That's how I was like, oh, she didn't call this Uber, and shame on that friend. I was like, babe, I'm gonna say, baby, that ain't your friend.
Yeah, I feel like if she sees us around here, she's probably gonna feel like embarrassed or something, because she seemed younger than us. So she'll probably feel embarrassed this couple helped if she can even remember us. I don't know.
Right. She might
I don't
not.
even know that she would remember this.
She probably won't.
But if she remembers it and says anything to me, I'm gonna tell her straight up, like, yo, you gotta get some new friends.
For real though.
Like, sis, whoever that was, that ain't your friend.
Just sent you here.
You know, we're like, do you have a roommate? Like someone we can knock on the door to like maybe come get you. You know, I because I don't know which apartment she lives in. I know that's also the apartment where there's this like white. I thought they were a couple, but this white woman that always has all the blinds open.
Yes, all of the blinds.
And y'all know I got white woman facial blindness. So I'm like, is this the same white lady?
I don't know.
I thought she had her shit together. I mean,
me too.
Looking in the blinds all the time, she seemed like she got a pretty nice life with the dog and the boyfriend.
Yes.
I'm like, it can't be her. It's got to be a different white lady.
Yes.
But yeah, so eventually the police do show up, and it's one guy, one cop. He was very professional and everything in front of us. I didn't feel like anything untoward was happening, but also I can never know. So I hesitated to even want to get the police involved. But he showed up, and you know, also because he's a police officer, he's and a white dude.
Right.
I think he's a position of authority, and she was answering him like she was focusing. Because with us, we're just people.
Yeah.
Well, he showed up with the badge and the uniform and shit in the police car, and it was a couple things happening. You could tell in her head at the same time. One, am I in trouble?
Yeah, that's what she kept asking him, and he was like, no.
Because like he asked her name, and she did say her name. I forget what it was, like Elliot or some shit. But she eventually does say her name, and he like. But she's like, I'm sorry. He's like, you don't have to be sorry, ma'am. You're home.
Yeah, you're not in trouble.
I just want to help you get into your apartment. Are you know, like what, you know, what's your do you know your name? She couldn't answer her name for a while. Is this the apartment? What number apartment are you in? She was focusing so hard that she finally got the right number.
Right. It took all her strength though. She is like, oh, she was looking at him like, oh, I think I got it together.
Like, I think she was just drunk, but it was just so she was so gone. Like, it could have been drugs, it could have been a lot of shit. But you know, he does help her. She only has one shoe on because her fucking shoe, the back of it broke and came off her foot. The other one stayed strapped on. It was a soldier.
To the end, wasn't it?
And he had to help her get that shoe off. He had to put on some gloves because, you know, police don't want to be touching people and shit.
Right.
You don't know what kind of shit people got. And then he like started helping her like go. And once she was standing, she started kind of walking on her own. It sounded like maybe she lived on not the first floor,
right.
which I'm like, I don't know how they making it up them steps, but she seemed like she was doing it. She had her shoes off. He was holding her stuff for her.
He was like, ma'am, pull down your dress, because when he came, I said, when he showed up, I was like, hey, just let you know, like, her dress hiked up. Like, I told her, I said, we tried to cover her up, but it wasn't too much help. But I was just letting him know kind of what he was walking into, if that makes sense.
She was like, he was like, is this y'all's blanket? I said, yes. And he said, okay. All right, I'm gonna get her inside or whatever. And once I saw they were kind of making their way in, we went in. But I have no fucking idea. Like, I've never seen somebody. I've seen people that drunk before. I have, but it's been so long. Like, I'm talking maybe college age.
Yes, that's about that wasted.
You know,
that was close to, if not blackout drunk at some period of time.
I think she was blackout drunk. I don't think she will remember any of that shit.
I don't
think
she will either.
Fucked up she seemed to be. So yeah, it was like, you guys, it was more scary than anything.
Yes.
You know, I like it's funny. That's the one time I seen somebody in a thong and was not excited in any way. I'm like, ma'am, no, please put your ass away. Okay.
Cover up, ma'am.
This is not Instagram.
I became 100% conservative. Ma'am, put your clothes on.
Ma'am, I'm not about to be no motherfucking native son. I'm not to be a cautionary tale because you done fell and bust your head.
I know, but like, ma'am, I'm gonna get the usher to cover your ass up.
Yeah. I was out there. I was out there. Sound like one of the people trying to stop porn. Like, that's enough, ma'am.
Enough of this shit.
Get your stuff together.
No means no, ma'am.
I'm gonna pray with you. I'm gonna lay my hands on you from over here. I'm gonna pray from over here.
From a distance.
Yeah, but she I think she made it in safe and everything. And I was glad that the cops didn't show up to be like, ma'am, this is public drunkenness or whatever. Now maybe that's just because she's a white lady, who knows? But I hope that the complexion for protection was helping out with her.
Yeah, and it was like one of the things, but you're literally at home, like we're not like in a public setting where I got to drive you somewhere.
I know, but you just never know with cops.
Agreed.
Like, it's easy to say that shit and then the cop throws some fucking statute at your ass and now you in jail. So I'm glad he didn't try to like he didn't show up punitively. He showed up to be like, let me just get her in. I'm sure it's an easy call for the cops because around here, shit, while we was waiting, I heard some gunshots. It's like, like, I'm like, I know he glad he got this call and not the like, hey man, we just heard 6 shots fired. Like, fuck.
Right. I know the EMS person was like, woo, talking about that's all. He went through the whole thing. He was like, I'm glad, and I was just explaining it to him. I was like, I can't leave out here. Like, I would have felt terrible.
And I was determined to not touch her without any permission, like not even to help her stand and shit. So like when she was trying to stand on her own, it was scaring the shit out of me because I was like, if she falls, I'm not close enough to catch her. So if she fucking fall and hurt herself trying to get up, I don't know what the fuck we gonna do, because then we're gonna have to call the ambulance. Because I don't feel comfortable. This woman can't even. She's so unaware of her surroundings. I don't feel like I can like if it was you, if it was okay, let me get your arm. I'm gonna carry you. I don't know you,
lady.
I don't know you. I don't want no problems. You, like I said, she wasn't really communicating with us, and it was just crazy. So yeah, she got in. Hopefully everything's safe. We haven't seen her today, but she probably nursing the hangoverist of hangovers.
I'm trying to tell you.
And I just really hope nothing untoward happened to her before we even saw her or whatever.
Yes.
That level of out of it is just one of those things where I'm like, did somebody put something in your drink? Did somebody do something to you, then throw you in this Uber, this Lyft drive, to be like, well, hey, ain't got nothing to do with me. I don't want to be seen as evidence to be around this person, because at best case scenario is she has a horrible friend or people that did not look out for her. And that's another issue with being that young and that kind of scene. A lot of those motherfuckers really ain't shit, because
and they don't care about you.
They don't really know that they ain't shit yet, because that's normalized to them.
Yes, it is.
So like they are like, yeah, I've been put in, like, we show up the next week and go, girl, I don't know how I got home. We drank all them drinks and I just remember waking up at home, and it's like they think it's normal, but I think you reach a certain age and like, that's not just not normal, it's dangerous and it's fucked up.
Yeah, and it's not safe.
Yeah. And Miss Smart, I didn't want to videotape it because her thong was hanging out, and it just didn't. All I could think was, this shit is gonna look like either like I'm weirdly like recording this woman whose fucking ass is hanging out the whole time, and that looks suspicious, like that shit being on your phone is not content. I'm not gonna ever put it anywhere. It did not fit. Like if she was just drunk and fully clothed and everything, I might have been like, let me record this just for posterity's sake.
Yeah, in case something goes.
But the way I looked at it was, look, we're here by our house. Karen's with me. There's got to be some way to trace back the lift.
Yes.
There's got to be there were people that rode by that could be witnesses.
Yeah.
Like but I did think it, Miss Smart. I don't want you to. I'm not trying to say you were in the wrong. Really, I thought it, and then I went, no. It'll be too fucking weird to be like, officer, I got the evidence right here. Now, okay, now I wasn't really trying to look at her cheeks. Now that I know what it looked like. Like, no, nigga, I just take my word for it. She was passed out, assed out on the fucking sidewalk, and we just trying to help her cover up. And she kept taking the thing off, so I wouldn't even felt comfortable recording, because it's like she literally would take the cover off, take the blanket off to try to get up, ass hanging out. Obviously, she would give up because she couldn't even stand. I would just put the blanket back on her, and then we do that 5 minutes, hello, hey, then back to try it again.
Yeah, and it's also one of my things. That's another reason why I call EMS, because I want a timestamp on I am here. This is who you're talking to. This is my information. All that shit is being like recorded. So, that right there for me is a form, because they have to record everything when you call. And so it's one of those things where, it's a timestamp. Y'all know I'm here. I am a witness, type of thing. And people were driving by and walking by and things like that.
I was definitely looking at my phone to keep the time too. Like, I know when the officer showed up and everything, because what I keep thinking is, if anything happens to her, shit, if she didn't make it through the night or anything, or if something had happened to her before, there might be a time where they come back and be like, hey, y'all were witnesses to something.
Yes.
Y'all, we need to, what time was it? What were y'all doing? So I still remember walking in the house at 10:57 p.m. I actually tweeted about it just so I would fucking remember.
Right.
And also, like, not to get too corny on y'all, but like, this is what neighbors supposed to do. Like, I know there's a lot of macro shit in the world, with the cops, with race, with all this shit. Politically, we're so divided and stuff. I don't know this woman. I know that's a woman that needed help, and that's a woman that was in desperate straits, and nobody was gonna help her. That Lyft driver looked like he was about 2 minutes from just dropping her ass off.
Yes, and
like, if she would have gotten out of that car, he would have left her there.
Yes, he would have.
He would have been like, cool, on to the next ride. And it was inconvenient, an hour of our life or whatever that we won't get back. But I'll feel a lot better knowing she got in safe than not. And maybe it's a Southern thing, I don't know. But also, we've had white folks look out for us in situations like that. I'll never forget when my car broke down in South Carolina in a neighborhood, and a guy driving by with his dad just happened to be like a home mechanic and fixed my car enough for me to get home and everything. And all he wanted was I bought him a set of tools from AutoZone. So and I don't even know that guy from Adam. I'd imagine we don't have very much in common when it comes to a lot of things in our beliefs. But it don't really matter in that case. It's just like, this is some old school human shit. Like, we got to help each other. So I'm glad we were the people there to help, because and not to be too hard on the Lyft driver, he got put in a horrible situation.
Yes, he did.
And I'm sure it cost him money waiting to take the next ride, because he was trying to find people that look like, they would help, and not people, I'm sure other people walked by and he went, fuck no.
Right. He was like, no.
Like,
and it may have been because he was like, they look like they are together as a couple.
I think it's definitely because it was me and a woman. We're older. We're clearly like, we're responsible.
Yeah, he look like they don't look like they're gonna go party in the club, and they on their way to the house.
We look like we would be able to take care of a toddler if need be, and she was basically a toddler in that state. So, it was a crazy thing that happened last night. But and if I could have gotten her like phone number or whatever, I would literally call to make sure, like, ma'am, you good? Like, everything fine? Because and like, look, I'm not even telling you to be embarrassed. I feel like everybody has been, like, if not exactly there, but you've been somewhere where it's just like, man, I made some mistakes were made.
Bad choices were made.
Yeah, but she probably don't even remember a lot of that shit. And I would just be like, fam, I don't know what's going on, but you and your homies need to have a talk, because that ain't how you take care of somebody.
Yeah, and it's also one of those things. Like, I think for me, because, and it's not even, she just have to be drunk, but sometimes people have side effects to medications, heart attacks, strokes, all types of shit. And I was like, I would not feel comfortable just leaving you out in the air, like, just there.
Yeah, it's the sad or the weird part. I guess it's not even weird, but I guess it's weird to me in a way. If I was by myself, I still would have done the same thing, but I would have felt like, I hope the cops don't show up and arrest me or do something to me.
Right.
Because it would have, like, if you weren't there, I don't know what the fuck would have happened, just because there's so many shit is racist and fucked up here.
Yeah.
If they would even believe that I'm just like, my neighbor got dropped off in a lift, I just didn't want her to be alone. These motherfuckers, sure, sir. You got the right to remain, so I just appreciate you being there, being calm and cool about it, even though you wouldn't even come close to me and the white girl, which I don't understand. I feel like you should have been sitting with the white girl and I should have been on the phone.
You should have been the other way around.
Karen was determined she wasn't even going to get close to this lady. Just let her husband go to jail. I don't know what the logic was exactly, but she literally just stood 20 feet away like, oh, y'all, you got it. You seem like you got it. Like, the fuck am I gonna do? Yeah.
Both of us would probably would have went to jail anyway. I'd have been the accessory after the fact of some bullshit.
Big black man next to a half naked white woman. That's always going well in American society. No one's ever had a problem with that shit. Anyway, any other thing?
That was it for me.
I got one more thing, and I forgot. I did this with Renaissance. I do this with most of her work. Everything except self-titled, and I think I'm gonna do it again. I'm gonna wait to listen to the Beyonce. Now I know what y'all thinking. Why are you gonna wait? You love Beyonce and you always like her work. I do, but I always fucking forget how annoying the first couple of weeks of a Beyonce release are. And I'm not just talking about the super enthusiastic fans. I don't actually mind them as much. I think people do too much to try to like tamp down enthusiasm in a time where we have none for anything.
Correct.
It's just the amount of takes off of any Beyonce release. They'll
be all over the place.
It's a tidal wave, no pun intended. It's a tidal wave of takes. It's crazy it's just reviews from people that never review shit, podcasts from people that don't even do music podcasts.
Right.
It's fucking, threads. It's, you got your white people that hate it. You got I'm a music critic, I don't like it. You got this is why it's not good. You got this is why it's perfect and it's great. And it's always so many reaches. It's a lot of projection because Beyonce is one of the most concise, direct communicators in her art ever. Period. Like, just there's not a lot of ambiguity to her songs, and there's not a lot of stuff that happens that she just leaves out. Right. Like, fuck it. What happens is people project a lot. I remember, like people have taken like the Uncle Johnny thing from Renaissance and been like, I remember that person wrote an article saying like her family didn't care and he let him die of AIDS alone. And I'm like, is this a fact that we know? Are you just projecting onto Beyonce and her family because it's time for another take? And everyone thinks their take is unique. Everyone thinks they're about to, because the most boring thing you could say is, yeah, I listen to Renaissance. Shit was hard, goes the whole way through, and I just thought it was well done. That's the worst fucking take. Like, it's just like, well, nigga, everybody thinks that. You got to come back with some like, I felt that the exclusion of non-binary people was the problem. Like, then people will, whether they agree or disagree, you'll get the clicks, you'll get the attention. You can't even just review it and be like, I thought this song was good because of this beat. I thought this song was cool because it's like, what's the macro message here? Is, oh, she worked with this person and this person. Now, what does that say about that? And from what I've seen with the track listing and everything, is exactly what I thought which is one of the reasons that I'm not really pressed to get a lot of people's opinions. We said weeks ago, I was like, she gonna work with a lot of people that already in the industry because she does group projects.
Yes, she does.
It's not hard to determine at this point. She and I'm not saying that in a negative, like she's predictable way. I'm saying it in a like, this is just what she does. We know it's not gonna be straight country because she's Beyonce. She would not. The point is not just getting a guitar and one producer and making a song about like. That's not what she's gonna do. She's not going back to 1960 to make nothing. She's gonna make it Beyonce and make it, inspired by this other stuff. There's people that are calling the album a revenge album at the Country Music Awards. The Country Music Channel retweeted like a praise of the album or tweeted praise of the album. People were mad, jumping in their mentions. Country Music Channel don't put on the Country Music Awards.
No, they do not.
Like, it's not the same. So like, people was like, why are y'all fussing at them? Because there's also people that think this album is a vengeance album. She done went Kill Bill on the country music complex and shit. It's a lot. I forgot how much it's a lot.
Yeah, every time she does something, you have, how can I say this? You have, I want to say 3 groups of people. You have, the Beehive, where, everything she does is the best and the greatest. And I get that, and sometimes that group goes a little too hard, which irritates people. I get that too. But you can also ignore those people if you choose to. And then you have the people that hate everything she ever put out since the beginning of time because it's Beyonce. They're like, I just don't like her. I don't like her music, whatever it may be it racism, be it jealousy, whatever it may be. Anytime she comes out with shit, it's this subsection of people that go, I just don't like her. And then it's this other subsection of people, and this group of people, and yeah, I'm gonna tell you, they weird to me. The people that don't listen to her music, don't like her music, but always consume her shit and always got an opinion on her shit. And it's like, well, nigga, why are you even over here?
Well, you know what I think is weird? I think there's a group of people that like her music and they know they like her music the same way everybody else like her music, but they want to be different. So they try to come up with angles of why the way they like it is different, or I'm not that pressed like y'all are.
Right.
And it's they're annoying. They're more annoying than the haters to me.
Yes, they are.
Cause like, nigga, you going to the Renaissance concert too. You not special, nigga.
Right.
You bought the tickets with some different money than I bought it with. You doing the same shit. She makes community moments out of her art, and she has a hook, like she has her hooks in, she has a hold on, she like, especially black women, black femmes, and they're gonna interrogate it. The woke people interrogate everything, so they're gonna interrogate whatever they mess with. But there's also just a level of like community that goes unacknowledged that she's continued to commit herself to making that work for.
Right.
And I think that part goes unrecognized in a lot of the conversations, and the intentionality of her work is what really I vibe with. I was saying her and Russell Westbrook are the only 2 niggas that make working hard look cool right now in America. We don't let anyone else ever work hard and let them be cool. Anyone else who works hard, we basically treat them like cornballs. Like, why are you trying so hard? Cool should be effortless. You should not want things that you can't attain. No one should be able to make you feel any type of way. And with this album, she's been able to say shit like the inspiration of being left out at the CM, like her not warm welcome at the CMAs or whatever. And I know people that feel like, why would she ever admit to something like that? And this is probably gonna be a weird episode because I'm gonna get into a lot of tangents on this.
Go ahead.
But it's not really about Beyonce, it's about some other shit.
Right.
But this is just a gateway into it. But I feel like there's 2 type of people when it comes to 2 type of Black Americans when it comes to our work and our creativity and the things that we do. There's Black people who openly admit to being affected and enraged and inspired by the plight Black people have been put into in America, and white supremacy and their entitlement and how it hurts us and affects us. And they're open about it.
Yes.
And a lot of times we make them feel bad. Like, why you letting white people tell you what to do?
Right.
Why you letting white people so you mad at white people? That's making you, whatever.
Like, I'm acknowledging the truth, and these are the things that impact me.
So that's the first group. And then the second group of Black Americans are those of us that lie to ourselves and say that those things have no effect on us. I've been a member of the second group many times, by the way. This is not a judgment of the second group. It's just how I see it. It's like, even during those moments where it was about the absence of whiteness, it is still affecting me that I made a choice that is about not including them or not considering them, because they're a huge factor in America and American pop culture. So anything you create in America has to deal with whiteness, especially if you're black.
Right.
You know, I won't address the third group, which is I just people that completely capitulate to white supremacy and like, you know, like your Candace Owens types and shit that are like, I'm just gonna ride this white supremacy wave. So forget them. But of those other two, because I respect both of those groups, I respect.
Right.
At times I've been like, I want to make something and I don't even want to think about white folks.
Agreed.
At other times I made shit and I've been like, yeah, fuck them white folks. But guess what? At the whole time, if you're not constantly in some level of awareness, then you're and anger about it, then you're not, then you're lying. That black people are like the Hulk in Avengers, where he goes, "I'm always angry."
Mm-hmm.
That's what it is. And if you if anyone telling you different is mostly a fucking liar, because you may have your moments of joy, but guess what black joy is? Revolution, resistance. Why is it revolution and resistance then? It can't be revelatory. It can't be revolution. It can't be resistance unless it's resisting something that we have to acknowledge exists, right? So we all pretend. I think not. We all pretend. There's a contingent of the zeitgeist of society, of our conversation, that really thinks there's strength in saying we aren't affected. And like I was talking to my friend about this, and you know, they're talking about they were going through something, and I said, you know, time heals all wounds, but our scars are, and the pain are our origin stories. And what I mean by that is the pain and the damage and the scar. A new story starts every scar.
Yes, it does.
You are changed by this, right? And what happens is many of us think strength is either A, getting back to this point before we were quote unquote damaged, right? Where we're like, I'm so good, it's like I never had my arm cut off or whatever, right? That's what many of us think strength is.
Yes.
Or I'm so strong, it doesn't matter I have my arm cut off. That's another one. Like I'm not even acknowledging that this has been happening to me. I'm not acknowledging, and that is my strength. And I've come to 45 years into my life, I've come to the conclusion that I understand that I don't necessarily find that as what I would call the ultimate strength. I think the ultimate strength is in the admission of I have recognized the unfairness. It has emotionally affected me, and I'm living with that, and I was transparent about that. And I'm still going to go out here and do the best work I can. I'm going to make the best art I can, or whatever it is. But there is no demerit, there's no fault in being affected by something that is traumatic. You know, there's no fault in she's a billionaire, rich, famous woman. Her problems are gonna be those of a rich, famous woman. You know, I saw a review where they were like, she's not singing about being poor. But what, y'all wouldn't believe it.
Right.
You know what else you wouldn't believe? If she put this album out and she didn't say it was about the CMAs.
Yep.
Y'all would go, bullshit, bitch. We saw what happened to you and the Dixie Chicks, and we know that really this album is about the fact that those people did not let you in. That's what you would say, and you chastise her for not admitting it. I go back to this album a lot, and I think at this point I'm gonna stand for this album. I'm gonna evangelize for this album, and it just doesn't matter if people never get on board with me. I truly 100% feel like I'm right and everyone else in the world is wrong on this album. Mr. Morale and the Big Steppers, to me, is Kendrick's most poignant work. It is his realest work. It is his hardest work. It is his most crucial work. If he finished his career with that album, I would be like, that was a masterpiece.
Yes.
I think it's his magnum opus. No, it don't slap in the way that, you know, the inspirational All Right is gonna slap.
Right.
No, he doesn't have any big ego songs like King Kunta. No, you know, it's not just about I'm the fucking greatest and you guys should listen to me and here's what's wrong with the black community in the world. It's not that. It's an album that I strive to encapsulate, which is all things begin and end through the introspection I have about myself. Because if I can't fix myself, I have no fucking business pointing the finger at all of you. As a matter of fact, was I really pointing the finger at y'all so I wouldn't be looking at me? That's what the whole album is.
Yes.
I was looking at y'all telling you you're not perfect, and really my shit is fucked up. And not only is it fucked up, but here's my raw, honest thoughts that are like not about trying to look good to you.
Right.
Which, people rejected and went, they're so shallow and silly. They were like, look at him. This album shows that he's flawed. And I'm like, that's the fucking premise.
That's the point.
The premise of the album is I'm flawed. Like, in every way that you find these other people flawed, I am too. I've just been faking. Like, I've just been pretending that I'm better than you. I've been, the Pharaoh and the king and all this other shit. But at the end of the day, I'm just a nigga from Compton that makes mistakes, that cheated on his girl while he was telling everybody else about all this bullshit, that had sex with white women while I was denigrating people and racism, like speaking out on all this racial shit, that wearing onks and black empowerment. A person that never really stood up or talked about homophobia and transphobia, and I have homophobic and trans members I have stood up for in my own life that taught me and raised me, and yet I wasn't saying that kind of stuff on my albums. I was just letting y'all cook. And no, I didn't have the perfect terms when I was going through this. It was confusing to me. It was misgendering. It was dead naming. I didn't know it like that because I was a kid, and these were just my loved ones. It wasn't. I didn't read bell hooks or go to school or go on Twitter and find the right words. I'm giving you the rawest, honest version of me and letting you judge it. Like, hey, I'm turning my phone off.
Yeah.
I'm walking away. Like,
that's what he did. They was like, this nigga like downgraded his phone, and like he was like, nope.
Yeah. Here's the hardest song for many people to listen to is him being like rawly honest about the gender wars that people are having every single day of our lives within the Black community, being like, this how we fucking sound right now. Well, and at the end of the day, we still love each other. So I don't want to do like an album review. I'm sorry to go. I told y'all it was going to be a weird, tangenty, long-winded episode.
Yeah.
And I know you're writing stuff down, and I'm going to let you have it. But my point being, the strength is in the vulnerability. The strength is actually in the imperfect. The strength is in this is me. And why? Because we can all relate to that. And why can we all relate to that? This is what I was telling my friend, because they had like a breakthrough, and they were like, I had this realization that I've been trying to cope with this thing, and I've been dealing with this thing forever. And I know how it is, especially for really smart people. We don't want to be stereotypes. We don't want to be basic. We don't want to be like the rest of these motherfuckers. We don't want to hear that our problem is the same as every other person's problem that deals with the same shit. It's like if it's like if I'm like, oh yeah, I gained a lot of weight, and then people go, well, it could be like emotional eating, and I'm like, no, I don't think so. I don't think so. Not me. I'm too smart for that. It must be something else, right? Because only a smart genius like myself would have to be a special problem that normal, regular other people don't have, And so, but meanwhile, the thing I was saying to this friend was, the whole world. What's happening is that when you admit things to yourself about yourself, and when you are able to say, this is my real truth, right? The one that's uncomfortable, I don't want to admit to, the one I don't like. And when you can say that out loud to yourself, this ain't about everybody else, just to yourself, that's when you look up and you realize you ain't got no clothes on. You've been out here like that white girl from last night, ass out the whole time.
Yes.
You have never had clothes on. Okay. You the emperor with no clothes. You have been naked the whole time. And once you realize, you admit that to yourself, you will quickly realize everyone's seen you naked. You've been naked the whole time. Everyone else knew you were naked. How did they know though? You were hiding it so well. You were saying this and you said, and when it was brought up to you, you had a great answer for it. And it was always the reason they know is because the pain and the trauma and the way that we all like hurt each other, we are all fluent in it, whether it be from the standpoint of a perpetrator or a victim of it, because we are all both. Mm-hmm. And so we know each other's raps. We know the lyrics to each other's songs already because we have lived them. So it's many things like that. The real power is in admitting it to yourself because no one can ever use it against you.
Right.
I see someone like Beyonce saying why she made this album. I see someone like Kendrick making Mr. Morale and the Big Steppers as the most powerful art possible because you can never use it against that person. Now you can say it don't slap, sure, you don't have to like it, but you can never come at her after this album and it say she didn't say that's why she made it. You can never come at her and go, you know why you really made that album? It's because your feelings were hurt by the white people at the Country Music Awards. And if she had never admitted that, it'll always be a cudgel that you get to use as a weapon and she can never disprove, for the record. Because no matter how many times she would go, no, that's not it. You go, that's it. You made a country music album because the white folks made you mad. No, that's not it at all. It's just I like country music. I'm from Texas. Yeah, okay, Beyonce. We saw what happened with the Dixie Chicks. They hurt your feelings, and you can just come out and admit it. We would like to have a one up. We don't have a one up on her. She fucking told you what the problem was. You don't have a one up on Mr. Morale and Big Step. That's why a lot of people I think don't. That's why they really don't like the album. Mm-hmm. There's no one up. There's no. He didn't perform for us in a way that allowed us to be like, well, you know what the problem is with his ass. He fucking told you all the problems with his ass. It was like,
whether you want to him or not.
Ended it with, I ain't perfect. I'm trying. I'm sorry. See you guys next 6-7 years. Whenever I come out with a new album, I guess I'll see y'all again. But yeah, I'm good on all this. I understand that I have been hypocritical and kind of full of shit about this. You can't. Every negative review of that album that brought that up, I was like, so you listen to the album?
Right.
Like what you want them to say? Like, and I know nobody wants to be a cliche, but it's only but so many stories on this earth, man. We all living through the same kind of shit. We're all affected by the same kind of shit. You know, the brain is basically a computer. You know what I'm saying? So while we are all different, there's a lot of stuff that we experience that is similar. There's a lot of pitfalls and things we have to face together. And so I think this is one of the reasons that, to me, I can wait to listen to the music for her, is specifically because I think she's going to communicate clear, and I like no noise from everyone. Get your take off. You got a month or so. You know, I remember the first time I played Renaissance all the way through. I want to say I was in New York writing for Game Theory. That's how long I waited, because they dropped in like the summer, and I waited until it was like maybe December, and then I listened to it, and I was so thankful to not have to even.
Yeah,
no one cared about my opinion. I didn't care about theirs. People had already said how they felt. I thought the shit was perfect and complete. And I think time tells the real truth with that shit, because every hot take motherfucker was in attendance at them concerts.
Yes, they was.
Every negative thing people said melted, because when them songs came on, you danced or you shared in community moments or you use it on your fucking social media to highlight something. It became the music of a culture, of a people, because that's what music does. Music isn't the review. Music don't care about the review. One person's opinion doesn't get to make or break society's opinion.
Right.
What people, because the truth is, what do you press play on a month after the album's out? That's the truth. I go back and revisit Mr. Morale and the Big Steppers all the time, because I really like, and that's my truth. That is a true masterpiece to me when I'm going back to it. you know, because if I just said all this flattery stuff about it and it was like 7 days out and then I never went back and listened, the truth is I ain't think it was that good because I ain't never go back, you know. And other people listening to this, they may have never gone back to that album. It ain't hit them the way it hit me,
Right.
and that's all right. But yeah, I this is what the conversation made me think about, and that conversation with my friend. I don't think there's anything stronger or better or more honest than, yeah, I have been hurt, and then inspires my work. You know, like when, and it's funny because it's like we don't want to give certain groups that, but it's all over your work. Okay, so I make work. I make When I was writing for Game Theory, I had a lot of thoughts about race and racism. Cause and it's not like I was writing the show like I can't wait to make the white people mad. I'm mad at what the fuck has been done, and it's okay. Like I get nothing out of it of not admitting that. And then when it's men, how much women art is about how fucking toxic and fucked up men can be.
Because they've dealt with them.
I'm not gonna hold it against you. That's informed from somewhere.
Mm-hmm.
You know, like it's and also it could be catharsis where you put it out and that's what helps with the healing. That's what helps. I don't think you can fix shit until you're honest about it.
Mm-hmm.
You know? And it's a struggle. I struggle with it every day. You know what I mean? This is not just me on a high horse. This is just how I see the world right now. And I think there's something powerful in it. In this stuff I'm doing with the gym, the cardio, working out, my food, it's been rough in me mentally. It's been kind of easy once I just rip the Band-Aid off and start talking about it. But it's been rough mentally to be like, fuck, I'm gonna have to admit that this is a hard thing that I haven't been able to do. And I'm now trying. And the world can see.
Mm-hmm.
Not trying behind closed doors in private. I mean, I'm not filming every second. I haven't like done an Instagram inspiration post or nothing. But
coming soon.
But our podcast, we talk about our lives. And saying like these are behaviors and things I'm changing. These are things I want to control. These are things I want to do better. And the whole world can see that. And I'm not necessarily doing it for the response of the whole world. Like I'm not doing it because I want everyone to tell me how great I am or it's inspirational or it's fun. I'm scared. I'm scared to fail. I'm scared to have tried really hard at something and not succeed. I was a kid that when he tried to do something, boom. Like it was not that I didn't work hard, but a lot of stuff came easier to me than other people.
Yeah.
And I know you are a very hard worker that's constantly works hard and all that stuff, but I'm just speaking from my experience because it all comes with different pitfalls, and mine has been one of like, well, if I can't do it easily, if it requires more work and effort than I normally would do, well then I'm not gonna fucking do it. I don't want people to see me try some shit I can't do and then it don't work. And I know I'm saying it out loud because I already know that's a fucked up point of view and that's not real. Like, you know what I'm saying? There are people that might be hating, but most people are rooting for you.
Yes, they are. Most people are rooting for you. Yes.
But the brain does the brain thing. The brain
does.
is like, oh, everybody gonna see you tried to do this. It didn't work. Like that's the brain is doing that, I am your conscious. And so it's been difficult to say that, but once you say that out loud, once you admit that, once you fucking like put it out there, no one can ever use that against me.
Right.
Like if somebody were, to say whatever the fuck about me, I already know. You know what I'm saying? And I'm not saying it in a like, in a way of like, you should let your haters motivate you. No, I'm just saying like, if I want something, I should be able to try it, and it's not a threat to anyone else, right?
Mm-mm.
It's not about you. You shouldn't ever be mad at somebody else's motivation.
Right.
Ever. It's their motivation. We don't know all the stories of everybody and everything they're going through. We don't know what affects people. You watch people do stuff in life and you go, oh man, that's changed. So we can be inspired by people in a positive or negative way. Why are we so adamant on owning everybody? And I think the biggest resistance to listening to Beyonce's albums at the day they come out is in the ownership people seem to want to have over this woman who has decided to not be owned. Like everything she does is like, I'm not anybody's bitch. You like, I will do what I want to do when I want to fucking do it and tell you exactly why I'm doing it. So there's no fucking speculation. And then I will abscond to my mansions and I'll see you in a few years or whatever. So I think, like I said, I find it to be powerful in a way that I envy in that, well, not envy, aspire to, in a way that I aspire to be able to say like, yeah, I know this is a true thing about myself. Okay, you see it too. And what are we gonna do? You know, and I think that's what's that part of the conversation, that part of the discussion is the part that seems to have been overshadowed by everyone's projection instead of like, what does this really mean for this person? And I can just take it at face value. Now, look, if that infuriates you that this woman who seems to have everything would dare admit that white supremacy also bothers her, I'm not really sure what we want at that point, right? Because we also get mad if these rich motherfuckers don't acknowledge it. We also get mad if they fake and pretend to do like poor people cosplay. There's a lot of anger and people looking for an outlet. And like I have a friend that I have friends that'll, we all have this, people that say everything's okay when it's not, because we just been told everything, just act like it's okay and it'll be okay, say it's okay when it's not okay. But the most powerful, realest thing in a friendship be the moments where people go, I'm actually not okay. That's when the friendship starts. Yeah. That's when the work of friendship starts. That's when the relationship is honest. Everything up until then, you casual acquaintances, everything's been good, but it's them days where it's like, I need a person I can be not okay with. Yeah. You know, and I think seeing people we aspire to be like say, the work I make is because I'm not okay. I don't know why it fucks with people. And I think it works both ways. Even the people who are nothing but praise many times dehumanize Beyonce by saying her humanity is the performance, not she's a god diva that has never been affected by anything. Jay-Z didn't really treat on her. She just made that up. She wasn't hurt at all. That, you know, like this is not about the CMA. She's just getting revenge on the white folks. It's like, or she told us how she felt, and I don't know, I believe her. Why would she be lying today? Like, what does she get out of that? So anyway, those are my thoughts. I talked for a very long time because I've been thinking about this for a very long time. But Karen, go ahead and do your thing, please.
I guess
you know what? Actually, let's play music. So we put a commercial here. Okay. And Karen's gonna come back and bless y'all. All right, Karen, give us them takes.
I wanted to continue to talk about Beyonce for a little bit. For me, listening to Beyonce's discography, I'm using the right word, discography. I think for me, Lemonade was her album for me personally, where you heard that album where you go, okay, Beyonce was raw, but Lemonade was the one where you go, oh, like it was like a shift or a switch or a change where it's like, no. You're going to get this is really who I am. You're not getting a performance. You're not getting a fake the funk. Like, I'm going to literally tap within myself and talk about things that I have never talked about before. my marriage, my husband, my children. I'm going to really talk about these things that I normally don't share with the world. And I think a lot of what I realized over the years about artists, about music, people consume music and people go, most people know that music that moves them is normally, and I'm not talking about like ass shaking music, nothing like that, but I'm like music that actually just moves the spirit is something that a person performs, raps, or sings, or whatever that you can relate to. It's something about it that hits your heart where you go, "Ooh, I feel that." And because that's why a lot of women love Mary J. Blige. I know a lot of people, talk about her music, but the shit that she sings about, a lot of people can relate to and still can continue to relate to. So as long as they continue to relate to, it moves. And the thing about Lemonade moved, and some people don't like to be acknowledged with truths. And I think a lot of times people reject artists that actually give them the truth, even though a lot of times the truth is the one thing that people can relate to and make albums, quote unquote, stand the test of time. Because truth be told, most of the music we listen to does not stand the test of time. It's your bop, it's your hit. If you hear it again, no matter how many times, you're brought back to a certain moment and you can rock. But you have certain albums, songs, artists, whatever, then when you hear that, you, no matter where you are in life, you can always relate to it because it's something about it that taps into your soul. And it's rare that we actually get music like that, truth be told. And so that particular album, I think out of all her music, for up to this point, is going to literally, for me personally, stand the test of time. And so I think that also when you was talking about, Beyonce and her acknowledging that she was hurt by how they treated her, I think that a lot of people don't like to acknowledge shit because we live in a society now where acknowledging something is a flaw. Acknowledging something makes you weak. Feeling things make you weak. Saying that you were hurt, saying that you're sad, saying that you're feeling anything besides anger for justice, or either you're happy, happy, joy, joy all the time. That's not realistic, and people don't actually sit in these boxes of joy all the time, anger all the time. That's very unrealistic, and and both extremes are not healthy. And so we're human beings are complex, and like I said, I've realized over the years that human beings don't like to acknowledge that the people that they listen to and consume have these problems, because if they acknowledge that, for some of them they would have to acknowledge that they also have these problems. They would have to also have to acknowledge that there are things in their life, particularly if it's something that they can relate to, they have to acknowledge those things too. And it boils back to a lot of the stuff I talked about before. People don't want to do the looking inwards to to figure out why these things cause these emotions to pour out of them when quote unquote social media have told you these things are terrible, which is not true. Feelings are fine, y'all. Feelings, emotions, anger, sadness, joy, depression, these feelings are fine. The problem is, what do you do when you have these feelings? Do you process them? Do you go through them? Do you look it in the face? Do you acknowledge that, hey, it's some things in me that I personally need to work on? It's some things. Everybody's different, but it's some people that I might need to forgive, including myself. It's some things that I might need to let go of, so that I could press on to not stay stuck. Because there's a lot of people that are stuck. And if you listen to social media, you will never grow past your worst moment. So that's what social media tells people. Social media says, if you fuck up, you are this fuck up right here. You are this fuck up for the rest of your life, forever and ever. Amen. No matter what you do, no matter who you save, no matter how much money you give, no matter what you accomplish in life, we saw you fuck up on this platform, so fuck you. But that's not realistic, and they know that, because the thing is, and I've always said this, people have had the ability to grow offline. The average person has the ability to grow, to evolve, to change, to mature, to fuck up without cameras and all this shit being consistently glued and posted in their face. But yet they go online and they judge everybody else whose shit happen to be public, like their flaws are meant to be forever. But you can hide with yours. And I have compassion. I know a lot of people don't have compassion like that, but I have compassion. I have ability to have an understanding, for that, and look at it at a bigger and a larger level. And the thing is, I will admit I'm flawed. I will admit I've grown, I'm matured, I've changed. For people that just listen to our show as long as you've listened to it, you know that me and Roderick's opinions have grown, evolved, and changed. We are not the same person that we used to be. And I hope the person listening to my sound of my voice is not the same person that they was 10 to 15 years ago.
Yeah, I think the other thing too is like I remember the reaction to Lemonade that some people had, and a lot of that reaction was really about not wanting to believe that Beyonce could be hurt by a man.
All right.
Like a lot of the rejection was like, hey, if we're saying that she can be hurt by a man, then what are we really saying about the rest of us out here? And I think that that was what you were talking about. And yeah, like the other thing about Mr. Morale and Big Steppers was that was an album that made me feel like Kendrick was saying, no one can control me. You can't control me. You can't, because the weapons that people use to control each other now in public is a lot of guilt, shame,
yes,
ridicule, mocking. We say it's okay when it's for the right side, you know, and it depends on what side you're on that determines which one is right, right? Mm-hmm. We've all seen that happen with people where it's like, damn, you're really going in on this motherfucker, and I think you just doxed them, and I think you just threatened them, and it seems like when the other people do that, you cry victim and you say that's wrong, but it's okay for you to do it right now,
right?
And it's like he doxed himself, you know. It's like he B-rabbited himself in 8 Mile, where he's just like, yeah, I do live with my mom or whatever. And I think that there's power in that. So yeah, like I said, it's been something that's on my mind. It's not really about Beyonce. It's really something else, which is that, and I've been thinking it for a while. I was talking to my friend. I knew I was talking a lot. And I was like, the reason I'm talking this much is because I just think about this so much. I just don't talk about it much.
Right.
I don't even know if I've talked about it on the show that much. I just don't talk about it much. But I see the damnness of blackness in America, of you're damned if you do, you're damned if you don't. But to me, the big honest truth is we're either liars when we say we are not thinking about this stuff, we're not affected by it, or we just don't have a full picture of ourselves and see when we are over the line and when we're not. You know, there's a lot of like there's people where I talk to, they're like, I don't believe in respectability. I don't believe that there's any art we can make as black people that is gonna teach white people the right way. I hate white savior movies. I hate race movies. I hate anything make me don't feel great, blah, 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 right? And then they'll go, I don't I don't even subscribe to all that shit. You know, I'm not even one of these representation matters motherfuckers. I just do me. Then the Good Time trailers drop and they're like, white people gonna put us back into slavery. Like, it's like white people gonna watch this and this is gonna be why they are racist, because this show was made. And I'm like, it's just a fucking TV show.
That's all.
It doesn't get that much power. Even if I hated it, it doesn't get to have that much power over me and my people to where it can exist or where its existence sets us back. It doesn't do shit. It's just a fucking show.
That's it.
If I don't like it, I won't watch it. Guess what I do with millions of shows every day I wake up? Don't watch them.
I sure don't.
And it don't matter to me. You know, I didn't even like the original Good Time. It don't matter to me. I don't bring it up. I don't make references on the show about it. Right. I'm not angry at it. I don't even have like a hot take on it. I just thought it wasn't that funny to me. I've watched a lot of it with my grandmama and stuff. It just wasn't hitting for me in that way. I'm not saying I detest it either. Like, it was alright. Wasn't my favorite. Like the Jeffersons better, you know. Like Sanford and Son better, you know. And so my point being, like, we we are struggling with a lot of this because a lot of it is we ain't even being honest with ourselves. And so if we were honest with ourselves, honesty might be, hey, I do feel the need for all black images or most black images to be positive. Then be honest about that. Mm-hmm. Don't try to make it into the people thing. It's a you thing. You need that because somehow in this world you think if we put enough positivity out, it'll justify something. It'll make something better. It'll do something. Maybe you're right. I don't know. I don't agree. I don't think. I listen to a bunch of music got niggas in it and bitches in it and a bunch. I've watched too much stuff and lived my life too much, that way. Made content that way to even pretend that I believe that's true. Yeah, I don't.
And a lot of them don't even believe it themselves. And the reason why I say this because I've been around long enough and been on the internet long enough. Y'all get this shit, you don't support it, and nor do you watch it, so you don't even believe it. This positive rah shit. Guess what? Ava DuVernay put out a bunch of shit. Y'all don't watch that shit. Like people do the work that y'all quote unquote claim that you want, and then you do not watch it, nor do you support it.
It's not the award shows that's the problem. We don't award shit by our views a lot of times.
Correct.
Like, we say we want things, but the truth is we don't. We want Tyler Perry. We're entertained by that stuff. We want
Tubi.
We want BMF. We want Power.
Yes.
We like this is
and that's okay.
This is why when we used to do the BET Award recap every year, and I remember there was a year where I finally told people don't write in here anymore calling this show a shame or saying why we got to have this artist, why can't all the artists do this? Because India Arie exists and she's at the award show and she got her segment, but that doesn't mean that whatever rapper doesn't get a segment too. That's black too.
Yes, it is.
We're not whatever illusion of blackness you want to paint us as. We're not that. We are a fully formed, three-dimensional people that has ups and downs, flaws and triumphs, everything like any other race of people. Mm-hmm. And why we gotta clean up the house like company coming over every time black people make something is a box. It's another box you're putting our creativity in. You're saying I can't paint with my pain. You're saying I can't be motivated by things. You're saying I can't be hurt. I can't have flaws. I can't. Well, now I'm just a fucking doll. I'm not a person anymore. Go get a robot. So I think that's what a lot of people end up putting on ourselves. And I think right now, I know I sound contrarian a lot of times, but I'm not being contrarian. I am resistant and skeptical and cynical to almost all of these momentary mass like performance movements online. That's what it really is. When it's everyone needs to hate the Good Times trailer the same way, even you niggas who don't watch TV.
Right.
You don't watch TV. Who gives a fuck if you're not gonna watch it? You don't watch shit. I don't like that. When everybody's got to have a take on Beyonce, I don't, it's not, they can do it. I just don't feel the need to, I don't want to participate in the conversation with them because it's about something else.
Yes,
it's not really about that album anymore. It's about like who can perform it the best, who can say they like it the most, who can say they hate it the most. I don't want to do that part of it. And I think I've just become so jaded by how often I feel like that goes wrong. There's too many things I've enjoyed that either would not get, they would have been trashed out the jump now, but they just happen to get grandfathered in before the internet, such as like Boondocks.
Yes.
Boondocks' original trailer would have been getting the Good Times treatment.
Yes, it would have.
It would have. I know motherfuckers are going to disagree, but they only disagreeing because they've already seen Boondocks. They don't have a time machine where we could go unsee Boondocks, throw the first trailer out there with the homophobia and the violence and the guns and the rap and the misogyny, and then go, this gonna be a great show. No, most of us would have been like, I don't know why they think black people got to be saying nigga all the time and putting their pants sagging and talk about hip hop and being misogynist. But then when you see the show, you're like, oh, there's layers and thought put into this. Another show that was great that Black Twitter tried to destroy before it even came out. I think it's actually getting a season 2. I'll be watching. They tried to destroy it before it even came out, and I went and watched it and was like, this was really smart and well done. This is not what you said it was.
And another one, truth be told, is Lovecraft Country.
Yeah.
And the reason why I'm bringing that one up too, I mean, you kind of talked about this, and it's somewhat frustrating. These black people who write for white publications and everything black they hate. And so, it's one of those things where for that show is a really, really good show. And a lot of people literally try to tear that show down and critique it and tear it to pieces. And the thing is like, for me, it could be very frustrating because we say we're not a monolith. We say we should be able to do any and everything. We like we say these things, but yet anytime for a lot of people, anytime something comes out that doesn't fit their bubble, they automatically reject it for various reasons.
Well, I have more to go because like I'm seeing someone in the chat be like, well, I watched Boondocks and I would have loved it. Even if we had a time machine and just came out today, I'd love it because I would know. Cool. I also read the comics and all that shit too. Was looking forward to it because I read those comics. But I'm saying if the trailer just dropped, because that trailer was not like the comics. The comics were not that all that hip hop and street, and nigga was never said in those fucking comics. So it would have had a contingent of black folks that was like, this is an embarrassment and stereotypes, period. The Good Times trailer that came out this week had a bunch of other stuff. One of the characters is an activist. The one woman seems to be, the wife seems to be like politically involved in like city council and shit. So clearly there's going to be some threads. There's them pointing towards the macro issues within white supremacy that lead to the problems that black people experience in poverty and cycles in the ghetto. It's in the trailer. I'm not making any of this up, but we said drug dealing baby, fuck this shit. Okay, what was Riley?
What was Riley?
Right. Riley, there's a you know what? You've done it. God damn it. I'm gonna find that fucking rant that Riley did, the uncensored one, where he's saying the F word like 17 times, and that was on TV.
It was.
And like we were just we were like, oh, but it's okay. No one's like, man, this is some extremely homophobic, derogatory bullshit. No, we were cool with it because it got grandfathered in. But we now are in a constant pile-on rage culture. This is the economy of rage. We are jumping on this shit. And we are trying to stomp shit out before people can even watch it.
Before they can consume it. And that's
the other two I was gonna name, Blackish.
Yeah.
Just from the fucking name, people were like, absolutely the fuck not.
I was one of them people.
Karen was one of them. Many people agreed. Underground, Snoop Dogg made a whole fucking thing off of just the announcement of the goddamn show. Bel Air, who asked for this? We don't need no remakes. We already had that.
That shit is one of the highest rated streaming shows.
The Wonder Years, the black version, the updated one, and then be mad when the shit get canceled. Well, you hated the idea,
right?
You didn't want it, so and we're complicated. I'm not saying these things as judging as much as I'm saying this is why I'm sick of participating in the daily anger windmill that is just happening, that is happening every day. I'm sick of it. So there's times where I just see it. They're going to do their thing. I'm not going to argue with them. I'm not going to yell at them. I'm not going to rant about it online. They got to do their thing. But if they can't see that cycle and that they're part of it, and that tomorrow they're going to be mad again because they need to be mad, they don't realize that's the part.
It's an addiction.
They don't know. They don't see like I don't know. They just don't see it, and I think that's a big part of it.
And Confederacy, it didn't even get to come out and exist because people was just immediately angry about it. And like I know you talked about this at the time, but a lot of people was mad with Watchmen. I think it was Watchmen, but because they was it Watchmen?
I don't know. I don't know what you're about to say.
With Regina King and all.
She was in Watchmen.
Okay, yes. So it was Watchmen. When that dropped, they didn't say anything. They just kind of just dropped it and it just played, and everybody was like, "This is the greatest shit ever," and they watched it and shit like that.
Yeah.
But yeah,
they said they didn't want Watchmen. We already had a Watchmen movie and all this shit. Don't nobody want to see this, blah blah blah. And then the second that they saw it, it starred Regina King. It was made by a white man, Damon Lindelof, who later would have exposés in a chapter of a book written about how terrible of a showrunner and The Lost was and all this shit.
Mm-hmm.
But they loved it. They loved it so much to use it as a cudgel against the black show.
Right.
And the black showrunner in Lovecraft Country. It was it was a very ironic moment, as if both couldn't exist. And both of them ended up doing a both of those ended up doing Tulsa episodes. Both of them.
Yes, they did.
And yet somehow
2 different ways.
Misha Green was supposed to never get a chance. No sequels. No second season. She's terrible. But Damon Lindelof was the god and needed all the awards. It's crazy.
Mm-hmm.
Here's Riley's speech. This was in Boondocks for everybody that is like, nah, everybody would have loved it. We would have had no issues with this shit if it came out today. We would have all been like, cool, hey, we know what this is about.
No movie. The smart thing was to say yes, get up, and leave the room. But then I thought to myself, what if this was a movie? Look, fuck you, fuck the plane you flew in on, fuck them shoes, fuck those socks with the bell on it, fuck your gay-ass fairy faggot accent, fuck them cheap-ass cigars, fuck your yuck-mouth teeth, fuck your hairpiece, fuck your chocolate, fuck Guy Ritchie, fuck Prince William, fuck the Queen. This is America. My president is black and my Lambo is blue, nigga. Now get the fuck out of my hotel room. And if I see you in the street, I'm slapping the shit out of you.
Not like Good Times at all. Not even close. No one would ever be upset about that at all today. If we saw that clip before we ever saw an episode of Boondocks after reading the comics, we would have all been like, I can't wait for this positive depiction of black people to be put on screen in animated form. It's a goddamn lie. We would not have. Maybe some of us would have. I would have, because I'm that type of nigga that always give people a chance to fuck up. So I'll watch it first and be like, okay, that was good. I thought it was going to be different. Or I'll watch it and be like, it was as bad as everybody said it was. I have no problem saying that. I don't want to join in a premature smackdown on some shit for existing. Just the idea. I'm not scared of ideas.
Right.
You know, people are so fucking scared that someone's going to have an idea that sparks something in them or something. I don't know what is going to happen, but yeah, I find it funny, the revisionism that happens. And if you bring up shit like this, I'm not trying to be contrary. I'm trying to be grounded in a consistent reality and point of view. I find no value in jumping to hysterics and the sky is falling bullshit every fucking day. I just don't see what the point is. All right. We talked about that. I said it was going to be a weird episode. I told you. It's been on my heart for a long time, and I just wanted to talk about it. But let's do something fun before we get out of here.
Okay.
I didn't do this yesterday, so we can do it today.
Yay!
For the gram, 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 for the gram. The doing it for the gram this week was worst relationship advice someone has ever given you.
Oh, ain't no telling where this gonna go.
All right.
Because people get bad advice. I see the shit people doing. I'm like, oh, that's not too smart.
Well, let's see. We got, I don't know how many comments. Got a few though. Curb Your Enthusiasm says, just be their peace. Nope. Yeah, when did the be? I know there's be his piece. Now this appears to be a dude saying be their piece. So I don't know if it's a like people tell dudes this as well. I've always kind of assumed it was framed as a people tell women to do this for men is what I've always, at least that's the joke I've always seen, is like just be his piece. And it's like, you know, don't bring up he cheating on you or he come home with a break, baby. Just be his piece and just deal with it. But I guess maybe people are telling men this too now. Lupine says, yes, you should marry him. Oh damn, that sounds like some, did you get divorced or something like this? Like how would you know that was bad advice until yeah, anyway, that sounds terrible. Maybe you should try something new. Side eye emoji says Flicks Chick G. Try something new.
I guess I don't know if they happy in a relationship or they was
Yeah.
talking to him and they was like, you should try something new.
I mean, it would just, yeah, I don't know how that's bad, really.
Yeah, but we need,
What
but we
makes
need
that
more
bad
context.
advice? Yeah, it depend on, like, there's a lot of context
That's
where
missing.
I can see try something new be good advice, and I could, but I don't know. Maybe it's like a dude trying to get you to cheat, and he's like, "Well, you should try some of this new dick."
Yeah.
Then it's like, okay, that's bad
That's
advice.
bad. That's bad.
I don't know. Miss Barnes says, per my mother, he's a nice Christian young man. Shaking my head, 3 shaking my head emojis. Yeah. Listen, okay, them Christian men got ways about them. They got some beliefs. Okay, they not all the same. You never know.
Never know.
You never know. Okay, for what kind of Christian? What church you go to? Do he believe women should be seen, not heard?
Come on.
He don't want you wearing pants.
He believe women should be quiet.
Yeah, like it could be a lot.
That could go wrong.
Yeah, you need to know exactly what his belief system is in that Christianity.
Mm-hmm.
That guy's a loser. Ditch him. We've been married 23 years, and he's the best guy I know. Says Mary. So somebody told her to ditch her future husband, and they was wrong.
They was wrong. Glad you ain't listen.
You think they waiting on something to happen like 35 years in?
But like I told you, he was a loser.
I said
they got it time stamped.
It took 35 years
for me to be right. I live long enough for the day.
Yeah. Captain Ingenuity says, and no, I didn't do it. I valued the relationship, and then my girlfriend way too much. Oh, I didn't see the original.
Pose.
What? Yeah. DJ Java says, treat them mean, keep them keen. Biggest load of bullshit I ever heard. Yeah, that's bad. That's up there with the pimp, like treat them like you beat them type bullshit. Mm-hmm. Like just because it rhyme, don't make it good advice.
No, it don't.
Yeah, I never got the whole like treat your spouse or your loved one like mean or like don't be too nice to them and shit. I'm like, nigga, that's the whole point.
What? Ain't that maybe I'm doing this shit wrong. I'm like, no, nigga, I treat me nicely.
I like to come in a house and not be fighting the world no more.
Ain't that the truth? Your house should. Every time I open up the door, I got to fight everything in a mama. Bitch, when I come home, I'm not fighting you too.
Eso Rar says, don't act interested. Don't respond to messages in a timely manner. Oh, yeah. This is one of the reasons I said I don't think I would be able to be single right. Because I'm
yeah, but y'all got these weird ass rules.
I'm a love cornball. I don't know that you. Oh no, don't after the date. Don't hit her up for 3 days. I don't know. I'm like, hey, you get home yet? That was fun. You know, there's like, oh, this loser ass nigga.
He's stalking me. No, I don't have time for that. I'll be by myself.
Sitting in the house listening to soul music, Soul Child. That's me. Quirky Bella says, date older men because they are more mature and don't play games. I didn't follow this advice. Yeah, because old single niggas be old and playing games sometimes too.
Yeah.
They just play a little bit different games than the young niggas, but there's a lot of old players from the Himalayas out here.
Come on.
You know, they just got treating women bad down to a science because they don't have a lot more practice than the young dudes.
Mm-hmm.
Allegra says, play dumb because guys don't like it when you're smart. Advice not taken. Yeah.
Yeah, dog. If you're intimidated by my smartness, well, bitch, we can't be together. That's a you problem, not a me problem. But a lot of women do that. Like they really will dumb themselves down just to stroke their man's ego. Child, boo.
I always felt like the need to be with somebody stupid does say something about you. Like I need you to be stupid. You know, like I'm tired. Like you know too many facts. You
right. How dare you have a vagina and be smarter than me? I'm a man. Nobody knows everything.
You out here reading and shit?
Right. You got degrees and shit, bitch.
D says, date to marry. That was bad advice. Don't date to marry. I don't. Oh yeah, what does that mean though? Date to marry. Like is it like even on date one, you're putting pressure on the person? Like, where's this going? We need to. How many kids you want to have? Is that what it is? I don't know because I've not heard that advice before. Mm-mm. You know, I think if you're looking to get married, then I guess date to marry. But maybe that's what it means is you can't have any casual dates or just dates of like I'm having fun. Everything gotta be
for marriage to be the end goal.
I can see how that would be whack. It's Allison says, them, if you don't, somebody else will. Me at 20, well, I guess I better. Me at 40, okay, shrug emoji.
Ain't that the truth?
Yeah, they always like, that's always a veiled threat too. It's never said in a positive light. If you don't do it, somebody else will.
Okay, then.
Right. Then maybe they should be with them. I don't know.
All right, maybe we ain't meant to be.
Iman says, never go to bed angry. Sometimes all I need to do is sleep on it. I'm not angry anymore by the morning, or I'm in better headspace to calmly explain my point of view. All right. I'm a never go to bed angry person. I wouldn't call that dating advice though. That feels more like marriage and committed relationship advice. Oh wait, it did say relationship advice. Okay, yeah. Okay. So yeah, I guess I do subscribe to that relationship advice. I try not to go to bed angry if I can help it.
Yeah, let's at least get to a place where it's like, okay, cool, all right. And I do understand sleeping on it and reprocessing it when you wake up in the morning. But that I can't go sleep like that.
Yeah,
I can't rest.
Also, like right now, she's batting 1,000, but it only take one time of stabbing this nigga to sleep that you'd be like, oh, I shouldn't have went to bed early. It just take one time. You only got to kill him once.
That's all it takes.
You wake up in the middle of the night like, take that, and then you be like, oh, should have went to bed peaceful.
Yes, peacefully.
Ksawa says, in my early 20s, I was really into this woman romantically. I didn't just want to hook up. I was trying to start a long-term relationship with her. My roommate, who had a well-earned reputation as an extremely unscrupulous person, told me I should go fuck one of her friends so that her friend would tell her about me and that she want me. Me and that woman never worked out, but it had everything to do with timing. I was on active duty and my deployments got in the way, and not because I didn't follow this advice. Yeah, I wouldn't follow that.
Terrible ass advice.
That's some old like MTV. Remember back in the late 90s, early 2000s, MTV used to have these like sexy college drama shows, and it was all just people hooking up and stuff. I forget the name of them, but they were like 2 or 3 of them, and they were corny. I couldn't get it to them. My roommate John Candy used to watch the hell out these shows. He loved them, and it was all like PG-13 making out. It was like you never seen no titties or nothing. It was all just like people kissing in the dorm room or something. But that's the kind of shit that would be on there. Is one of these fucking like, like, oh, fuck her roommate, and then her roommate will say how good you are in bed, and then she'll want to be with you. And like, that never has happened in life. Not on purpose. As long as he doesn't hit you, you should stay with him, says Eve. Oh, that is some bad advice. Yeah, that's the floor.
Yeah, and a lot of them be like, girl, he ain't beating you.
Right.
We need a little bit higher than that now.
Right, that's the floor. At least he don't beat you. God damn, that's crazy.
But some people believe in that.
Yeah. Marisa says, let's go to Diddy's house. What's the worst that can happen? Then no one gave you that relationship advice. No. Hilarious, but get out of here. Chocolate Girl Wonder says, find someone who's into you more than you're into them because they won't leave you. Don't do this. It's unfair to both of you. She put in parentheses, using sex as training, bargaining to I'm a woman of a certain age, and this was wildly conventional wisdom, in quotes. Yeah, that first one is definitely weird, of like find someone more into you than you are into them. Definitely feels, because that's like a purposeful choice you'd be making.
Mm-hmm. Like people, a lot of times people do that. A lot of advice people give people is, kind of project yourself, always have an exit. Like, you don't want to be out there looking stupid, like type of like some of this advice going, well, let me fuck it up. So, whenever they come out and they be cheating, I can be like, ha, I did it too, I did it first type of shit.
I feel like that's also how you get stalked.
Yes, yeah.
I wanted somebody that loved me harder than I love them, and they'd be like, I love you so hard.
Mm-hmm.
I'm gonna be at your house.
I'm be outside knocking on your window.
I just want to watch you sleep. Like, I'm good.
I'm stand over you as you sleep, girl.
Your tongue wag says, leave him because he doesn't have a car and can't take you on a Sunday drive. Here we are, 23 plus years married, 3 amazing grown kids, 2 houses, and several cars later. Meanwhile, this friend is a distant memory. And then someone said, and then I can't see. Oh, someone replied, haha, he rode that bike everywhere. So it must be a friend that knows her, and then replied, he is a gem.
So the person they was dating didn't have a car and stuff. I was like, girl, they ain't got no car. And they was like, it didn't matter.
Yeah, I think a lot of that kind of stuff is overstated, but as you get older, it matters, I think, more. Cause then you get, cause there's a certain age you cross over where it's like, how are you this age and you don't have a means of transportation or how to get around places? And I don't mean like you live in New York, you know what I'm saying? Like there's certain things where I get it at a certain age, but when you're young. Especially, it just feels like people are setting themselves up, especially now with the way society is set up with debt and
and they've done studies. They said more and more adult parents have children like living with them until they're like in their 30s. I was like, yeah, that makes sense. And y'all know what? In other countries, it's like that. Like in other countries, people live with their parents till they get older. You know, here in America, we like get out the house as soon as possible.
Reg Dow says basically all the surrendered wife book and the idea that I should be led by my husband, that my needs are secondary. What the church taught me about marriage was so damaging and ridiculous. I feel you on
that.
I
agree.
Stay Married for the Children says, of course I look tired. That's the name of their account. Stay Married for the Children. No, I did not do this because one of the best things I could do for my children is show them that they deserve to be happy. I don't want them growing up in a home that would have been progressively becoming more emotionally unhealthy. And I for sure don't want them internalizing the message that they should stay with someone out of social or familiar obligation, even if it means sacrificing their mental health and overall happiness.
Yeah, and people think children are stupid. People go, I do for the kids. No, you don't do for the kids. The kids know that y'all not happy. Yep. Mm-hmm. Like people act like kids can't pick up on content. They know y'all not fucking. They know y'all don't get along. They know y'all arguing. Like kids pick up on shit. Children are not stupid. So you might as well go ahead and separate and let everybody go through the process and move on and let everybody live happier lives. The kids will probably be happier because they'll be like, thank God y'all didn't get along.
Yeah, one of the things I always find interesting about the do it for the kids talking point is it's never like do it for the kids, go to therapy, recommit yourself to the marriage, get happy and fix your lives. It's like, no, be miserable, but at least you're in the same house for the kids.
Yeah, it's never if you're not gonna do that first thing, it's never like it's not worth it.
It's never fix the marriage for the kids. It's always like just be in the house in proximity. That'll fix. That's close enough. Like it's kind of funny when you think about it. Tequila Shot 2021 says, when it comes to women, be careful. That's the only advice regarding women relationships my late pops ever gave me. Be careful. Wonder what that means. Never discuss anything else about women, cars, work, cutting grass. Yes, maybe, but be careful related to the fact that I was one of 7 kids. But wrap it up. I can see that. NGB says, just have a kid. That will solve everything. Luckily, I got away baby free. Yeah. Ooh, good grief.
Yeah, yes.
Yeah. Anytime you're having problems, it's like throw a kid on top of this. It's crazy to me. Is he Christian? Rolling my eyes. Actually, a deal breaker for me, says Terry T. Mars 9R says, always be late when you're meeting up so she doesn't think that you're desperate. Last I heard, that guy was still single. Because he was late.
Right.
And lastly, don't have sex too soon. He will only want you for one thing. I mean, listen, I'm going to be honest. If they're that kind of guy, they're going to only want you for one thing whenever they get it. Regardless. Yeah, it's really more like after the sex, they only want you for one thing. That's the problem anyway. Mm-hmm. Also, what if you only want them for one thing? There's a lot. Yeah, I hear you. It's Me Fink says, thinking back, this guy played Donnell Jones. Where I Want to Be was nasty work. I had to peace out. But at least he wasn't playing that Carl Thomas.
Oh, no.
Captain Ingenuity says, find someone local to mess around with. That long distance relationship can't be that serious. That is bad advice, you know. Mm-hmm. And I get having multiple like relationships if that's what you're on, but if I never really, I mean, look, it's not for me to say, but it feels weird to sabotage a relationship on purpose. If you're happy and it's long distance and you want to commit yourself to it fully, I don't know why someone would give you the advice of like, don't do that. If that's what's making you happy, do what's making you happy. All right, that's it for doing it for the gram. For the gram, 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 And we're gonna do sword ratchetness and wrap it up. I told you this would be a meandering, windy, weird episode, but hopefully you guys enjoyed it and got something from it. If not, hey, I got something from it. I enjoyed it.
Me too.
I really wanted to get that off my chest about black art and about trauma and pain and using it and how vulnerability is the most powerful thing we got. And no one can never shame you for something you already know about yourself. All right, let's go to sword ratchetness. Man, there's a lot going on in this headline. Here we go. Samurai sword slasher jailed for wounding pregnant woman in Fife Boxing Day loud music complaint.
That is a lot happening in that sentence.
There's several questions just from the fucking
the title.
The headline. A Fife, man. So I guess Fife is a location.
Okay, that makes sense.
What is Fife Boxing Day?
Me too, right? I was like, this overseas?
Right. I know Boxing Day is like Christmas for
Canada. Yeah, for Canada.
Well, I guess in Fife is now March 29th. A Fife man who slashed a pregnant woman with a samurai sword. Why would you slash a pregnant woman with a samurai sword after a loud music complaint has in jail? Oh, maybe because who was complaining? John McHale's victim was left with a slash wound to two of her fingers when she stepped between him and her partner, who had just been to the neighbor's door to complain about the noise. Also, the pregnant woman's partner went to this guy to go, hey, can you turn your music down? And then this dude pulls out a sword. She gets between them. He cuts two of her fingers.
Oof.
She has suffered psychological effects as well as permanent scarring because of the Boxing Day 2021 incident in Ossian Crescent, Metil. Oh, so this was from 2021. So who knows what day this was? Maybe it is around Christmas. McHale, 26, earlier pled guilty to an amended charge of culpability and recklessly striking the pregnant woman on the hand to her severe injury, permanent disfigurement, and permanent impairment. Sheriff Stephen Borthwick told him the harm he caused that woman was very significant and profound and jailed her for 16 months. Prosecutor E. McCaig told the court that around 5 a.m. on December 26th, okay, so it was around Christmas.
5 a.m. Woo.
Right, 2021, the victim and her partner were woken from loud music from the home of a neighbor. Yeah, you're an asshole. It's 5 a.m. and you're doing this. The woman fruitlessly banged on the living room door, sent text to McHale's father and brother, and phoned the house. Her partner went to the man's door around 6:30 a.m. He answered and the argument started. The woman heard shouting and went downstairs to investigate. She saw the accused holding what she believed to be a pole due to his limb. The object was raised in the air. The woman, concerned for the man whose back was turned, he was going to do it in the back, attempted to stand between him and the accused. She stated, "I'm pregnant," and reached her hands up to prevent him swinging towards the man. She then felt the pain in her left hand, which began to bleed. Ooh. The man, upon hearing her shout, you have just cut my hand," turned towards the accused and saw him running back towards his father's address in possession of a sword. She said the woman needed an operation for tendon damage and had to remain awake during surgery due to the fact she was pregnant. Man. An alternative to prison, referring to her victim impact statement, Sheriff Borthwick said it's not only physical injuries she struggles with, but profound effects on from mental health. He also highlighted McHale's significant records of previous convictions. He added, "There's no alternative but a custodial sentence." Oh, okay, so it was okay. I see what you're saying. They were considering alternatives to putting him in jail, and the sheriff said no. This motherfucker's done too much shit.
Oh, he got a prior record. We are not going lightly. He's like, give him all the months.
He needs jail.
Right.
The lawyer said it is accepted his client did not mean to hurt anyone. Okay.
What?
You are a lawyer, and I'm assuming
that's your job.
That's what you got. That's the lie you got to stand on.
But shit.
It's a sword.
If she hadn't jumped in, he'd have sliced that dude in the back.
Right. When have we swung swords that didn't mean to hurt people? You Rurouni Kenshin out this motherfucker. You got the reverse sword,
right?
The emphasis.
Nigga out here bunkai. What's up?
Right. Anime references. Drink Thought you made it through the whole show, didn't you?
Not.
That'll be 2 shots.
If he was smart, he'd have flash stepped away. 3 shots.
Don't try to kill him, Karen. Come on. You're gonna have them out there with their thong out, laying in the parking lot.
I hope not.
Emphasizes circumstances have improved since December 2021 when he was drinking too much and taking drugs. The difference between 2021 and today is stark. His attitude to this offense is appropriate. He has what appears to be significant remorse towards the complainer. I don't like the word complainer there.
Complainer.
I'm sure it's me looking too far into it, but I'm like, I'm not a complainer. That's probably some English shit they say over there. Cause I'm like, I'm not complaining. You cut my fucking hand off, asshole.
Complaining? Who's complaining? You committed a crime.
Why? I need all my fingers. Ooh,
you complainer.
Psychological damage. Baby gonna cry. All right, that's it. Thanks for listening, everybody. We appreciate y'all. We'll be back throughout the week. Hopefully you enjoyed this. Leave comments on our website. Leave us 5-star reviews. Vote in the polls and all that other stuff, man. Until next time, I love you.
I love you too.